Hey, my love, it is your good God sis, Nicole Melissa, and thank you for joining me for another journal entry in Thinking Out Loud with Nic Mel. So last week, I believe I ended on that I want to talk to y'all about what thinking is, like what is thinking a thought all the way through. I just want to briefly explain why I want to have this discussion right now is because, like I said in the previous video, the Lord definitely let me know that we are being deceived, you know, the body of church, the body of Christ, but also just worldwide, like the nations, all of the nations are being deceived. And it's really important that we understand what we're thinking about and how to think about what we're thinking about effectively. Okay, because there's a lot of information that's coming at us. We are in a time, catch that with your spiritual ears, a time, like a time, and a time. We are in a time where information is just coming at us from all over the place, and some of it sounds wonderful, others sound awful, some of it is just like, okay, it's whatever, I can do with it without it. There's a lot of information coming from all over, and we need to know how to digest it, I guess, or even to just think about it, like what is being said, right? So I just wanted to just quickly just share what a thought is, and at least how I go about thinking. Okay, so scientifically, I guess we could say, our brains are always working, right? We're always thinking, whether we realize it or not. So when you ask somebody, what are you thinking about, and they're like, nothing, that's actually not true. You're constantly, your brain is constantly perceiving things. Like as we look around, we are thinking without even realizing it, right? That's like almost like how sometimes you're on your way home from work and your brain is just on autopilot. Like you just know how to get home. You're not really thinking about going home, getting home. You know which way. Has that ever happened to you? Like it's like all of a sudden you're home. You're like, how? Oh, like I didn't even remember turning on that street. What's that street name? You don't even know the name of the street. You just know that you turn on that street. You know what I mean? Because your brain is always thinking, it's always perceiving things. So, but every so often, your brain will capture a thought. Like, so something will pop in your mind, and that thing that pops in your mind is a thought. It's because your thinking has captured something that piques your interest, and so now you have you hold on to that thing, and then you create a thought around it. Okay, so we've been getting a lot of uh, interesting thoughts coming from different people and all over the world, and some of the thoughts that are being circulated are questionable, right? In my opinion, I'll say that. So that's another thing that I should probably share as well, is that there's a difference, and I know that people use these two words interchangeably, but the reality is that they're not. There's two different functions, and one is truth and the other is accuracy. So there you can tell the truth and be inaccurate, or something can be inaccurate and still be the truth. Do you understand? So it's also important that when we're in the process of thinking, so once we've captured, so like I said, our essentially our brains are always paying attention, scanning, listening, receiving messages, and the messages that we choose to latch onto are the ones that we give more thought to, right? And we start to think about those deeper. Whether it's, I say deeper, but sometimes you can surfacely think of something deeper. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like not, so an example of that would be, okay, I'm hungry. What do I want to eat? Okay, so I can have chicken and rice. I can have fish. You could, you know what I'm saying? You can go through that process. That's kind of surface, but still a deeper, now you are really, you have a thought, you've latched onto it, and now you're trying to create an outcome from the thought. And so it's important to know that good thinking produces good thoughts, and good thoughts produce great outcomes. We can always tell whether something was a good thought that was produced from good thinking by its fruit. That's why the Lord always tells us that we will know a thing by its fruit. Okay, so hold on. Sorry about that. I thought somebody was going to come ask me a question. But she just kept walking. Anyway, where was I? Okay, help me. Help me. Help me. I'll hear you. Fruit. Right. I think I left off saying that we know something is a good product based on the fruit. Right. Yeah? Okay. So, you know what? I think it just dawned on me right now. See, thinking. You're literally going to watch me think in real life. And I think that one of the things that Abba is helping me with is to organize my thoughts better. Possibly. Do you know what I mean? Because what I've been able to do from thinking about what I'm thinking about and being essentially more intentional about my thoughts is that I've noticed that and I'm sure this is true for a lot of people, but my thoughts, I get thinking about one thing, and that one thing is going to lead to something else. And none of the stuff that I'm thinking about is ever like willy-nilly. It's always like, oh, but that's a deeper thought. Oh, we got to go deep in now. Like, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, child, I digress. I was saying that it is important in this time that we learn how to think properly. Okay, so that was just I just wanted to give you guys the background of what thinking is, and then thinking a thought all the way through. I'm going to get into this maybe in another entry at a later time about what thinking a thought all the way through really looks like, because I don't want this video to be too long. But I did want to give us that background so that we understand that we need to hold on to a thought. We need to then make sure that the information, that thought that we're having is true, true and accurate if you can, but most importantly, true. Okay? It needs to be true. So with all the information that we're getting all over the world right now from everyone in this really interesting time, it's important that we know what is true. And if we can get accuracy in that truth as well, that's going to benefit our thinking. Okay. So if you get in a pattern of making sure that you are always looking for the truth in whatever it is you're thinking, because the human mind is interesting in that, we tend to lean towards a negative thought and then latch on to that negative thought. And then that, it's like a tumbleweed, we just go with it. Ideally, what you want to do is train yourself to think of the best case scenario for yourself. And if you get in the habit of thinking of the best case scenario for yourself, you start to do it with everything else, right? You want to be a reliable thinker in this day, in this time, and in this hour. So anyway, I think that the time of casual thinking is gone. And I'm not trying to be doom and gloom, but we really have to be productive in our thoughts right now. they just can't be as casual as they once were, because there's different thought camps that are springing up everywhere, and some of them just aren't true. Accurate, but not true. And so the only way that we can really understand truth is through our Father, is through Yah. You really need his guiding hand, his Holy Spirit, to guide us into all truth, because otherwise we can and will be deceived. Okay, so that's, I think, all I wanted to think about today in this entry. But I also have been thinking about something else that I hope it's not too controversial, because it's like not my goal, but you know, this could just be potentially me watching this. So Nicole, you'll be aight. I've heard this brought up before, and I really wanna think about it some more, because it's interesting. Okay, and I just want to say this. Okay, when I go in, I'm going to explain. I'm going to share with you in a moment what I'm thinking about, but I do want to put this disclaimer out there. Okay, there is, I think I might have mentioned this in a previous video, there is this notion that if you ask too many questions, that it's like not a good thing, and if you ask too many questions, it can bring you further away from God. See, that again that's the thought process that you just don't need. Personally, that doesn't work for me. What works for me is to think about all things. And I believe that all things, because all it's done for me, I'll say, is bring me closer to God. It's not pulling me apart. It's not taking me way out into yonder. And even if I do go way out into yonder, or down a hole, a rabbit hole of thoughts, he always meets me there, right? He always meets me there. So the thought that I've been thinking about, that we'll talk about this in the next journal entry, is the fact that a lot of the time where you reside in the world determines what you believe, determines your religious structure, whether you are religious or not, right? Like, chances are, if you were born in the Middle East, then you are more likely to be of Muslim faith, right? If you were born in the Orient, you are more likely to be of a more Buddhist faith. If you are born in the Western Hemisphere, you are more likely to be a more Christian or Catholic faith, right? So there's something to be said about that, and something to think about, because all of these devout Muslims and these devout Christians and Catholics, and these devout Jewish people, or devout, whatever, Buddhists, the list can go on, Sikh, all Hindu, all of it, we can go on, that are religious about it. They believe what they're saying is true, right? But I guess what I want to think about some more is, I personally believe there's only one true living God. And I understand just from reading my Bible that there are gods out there. However, there's one God above gods that all the other gods look to, okay? Because there's one God. This is my belief, okay? So could it be that in all of these different religions, that they are meaning to pray to the one and only living God? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they're calling their gods different things, but they're meaning to reach the one and only true living God, creator of all things, creator of this universe and everything in it. The one God that cannot be recreated like the other gods. Do you understand what I'm saying? So anyway, let's think about that some more. I think it's worth thinking about. And no, I just don't believe that because you are thinking outside the box that, you know, you're gonna go to hell. I don't personally believe that. Anyway, we'll think about it some more next week. Okay, so if you made it this far with all my sporadic thoughts, I appreciate you. If it's just you and me, Nick, thanks for being here, babe. So until next week, love you, mean it.